I thought I was starting this one, Sal.
Sorry.
Hi, and welcome to When Harry Met Sally.
Hello.
A photography podcast.
It is a photography podcast, which I'm finding really hard to say, but I think we needed to say that at the end of our introductions, didn't we?
I think so, to let people know what is going on here.
It's so good to see you, Harry.
You too, Sally.
Had a good week?
I've had a great week.
Fantastic.
It's been amazing. I'm very excited for our guest who's sitting across from us right now.
Absolutely. Me too. And somebody we've both known for a really long time, and we keep crossing paths, so it's really exciting to have a friend in the room with us too.
Absolutely. Hello, Samantha Everton.
Hello, Harry and Sally. Absolutely excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you
was
so
a real
much.
thrill. You were one of the first people when we decided to do the podcast. We were going, right, so let's put a list of people together. What about Sam? Yeah, hello, Sam.
Who gets to hang out with friends and do this at the same time? It's a
Absolutely.
happy marriage. Yeah.
It
Absolutely.
is.
And I think you were talking about when we first of all really got together was at the Photo Collective in your very first...
Yeah, when we first started Australian Photography Awards, and we were putting our judging panel together, and both of you were on our first judging panel, and we all judged together for
6 years, I think.
yeah, something like that. And at the beginning, like this, now we kind of change up the judging panel every year, but at the beginning we kept the same judges for the first 5 years or
But do
something.
you remember that first year and we were booked from 9 to 5 and it got to 6 and then 7 and then 8 o'clock and then it was like, should we keep on going? Yeah, we'll just keep
was like,
going. And
we
we
could
powered
come
through
back
till
or-
midnight.
And you
Yeah.
provided such great food and cheese.
husband's a
and
chef.
It was a
husband's a
brilliant.
chef.
I
She didn't
know.
provide
That's why
it.
I kept coming back, actually, for the food.
Yeah, we were just there
Photography
going-
was just on the side.
yeah, hey, food's great.
And then since then, you've had a lot to do with Photography Collective, and you and I have had a lot to do with judging together, different awards, and
mentorship panels. and-
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we bump into each other a lot.
we do.
We do. And we used to bump into each other a lot at the school playground as well, didn't we, Sam?
My worlds meshed together.
Actually, I remember that in
did.
that first iteration of the Photography Collective when you realised that your son was going to the same school as Sam's.
Yeah, and you were giving me tips and pointers of what the school was like, and then suddenly we were meeting up and having coffees at the cafe there.
And do you know what? I think that's a really nice segue because we've talked to so many different people over this podcast, and to talk to you about your art practice and what you do, but how you manage it with a full-on creative family, motherhood, living between two places. You know, I think that would be something that a lot of our listeners would really like to hear, along with your photography. So how do you do it all, Sam?
Good question. First of all, Harry and I chose an amazing school because there's a cafe in the school. So you can
What?
drop your kid off and then have
And
coffee.
then go and have coffee.
Oh my
yeah. it's
Sprouts has
amazing.
been a big part of my life. And my creative process was sitting there and brainstorming with like-minded people and just
Absolutely.
merging life into fully functioning with school drop-off and creative community.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
must say that's been a huge plus, having a vibe and a community around me that meshed in with daily drop-offs.
Yeah,
And
it's
so,
true.
and so your photography practice that you have now have you always worked like that, or did you change your way when you sort of got, had the children and...
No, I've always worked this way, and it's really merged in well with family. But I've always, had a 2 to 3 year timeline of where I produce work, and then that work will literally take me from planning stage to production about 2 years. I take 10 photos in 2 years.
Wow.
And then there's usually a year of exhibiting and whatnot. And so that rhythm and flow of a 3-year period works in well with family. And the reason it's that longer time is because I build sets and, it's a theatrical production that I create and then photograph almost like a film still. So it's almost taking the photograph is an anticlimax. It's really all about creating a theatrical stage and a production.
It's the process of it.
Yeah, it's the
whole-
process.
yeah.
And that works in well around a flexible life. And,
Well, I think also the way that you work too, it's a bit like our podcast. We don't know where it's going at the moment, but
Yeah.
we know it'll go
Yes.
over. We thought we'll make it and they will come.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like your artwork, isn't it? You don't have a deadline that's got to be in the gallery in October.
Yes. And I like to call it organised spontaneity.
Nice. I like that. We'll take that.
That's workable.
So I put everything in the arena.
Yeah.
And it happens. I mean, there's a lot of planning, but then there's flexibility within that. And that's, I think, the best creative process you can have.
And so you say you've always worked like that. So right from the beginning, like on the first project that you kind of ever did you know that was your process? And were people trying to encourage you to move faster, and you were like, nope, this is how I want to do it? Or
it was just how it evolved. So I was at initially at RMIC, and then RMIC. See, you said I could RMIT.
We've already done this house.
Done lots of
I feel like I lose my teeth half the time.
Yeah. Well, I have just got braces recently, so there's a lot of things going on.
C's and T's.
Yeah. But look, it was an assignment to a studio portrait, and I just went away and did my thing. And I've always loved, I was a hairdresser, and then I worked with as a photojournalist, and I kind of meshed, and I've always been creative and painting and building, and so I just brought it all together in this photography course. And I came back from this assignment with a studio portrait, which was so elaborate. It was my first one. There was a Dalmatian on the couch. There was a lamp on a lady's head. There was all of this, and I just walked in, and everyone was showing their work, and I went, "Oh, you just took a portrait? Oh." So I kind of just found, by having the freedom to do what I wanted, just found my space.
Yeah.
And I went, actually, that's what I like. I like being in front of the camera, making it. I don't necessarily need to be there taking the final shot. It's
so unique to you, I think. You've really found your artistic expression. You can really tell when you're looking at your work, I think, because you can see that production value in it. I
think of myself as a director when I'm on sets, and I have a lot of people around me because I just want to be in amongst it. I don't want to be tied behind the camera.
Yeah.
So I literally have, my right-hand man, Tim Barker. He's amazing. He always comes and does the technical. So then that releases me to be creative. So I have a lot of people around me, so I can have the freedom to just direct.
Yeah. And you said jokingly that you take 10 photos every 3 years.
Yeah, I know, it's true.
You were shooting on film for a long time. Are you still shooting that way
I'm not shooting on film, but I kept the process for such a long time just because I didn't get caught up behind the camera.
Yeah.
I couldn't see, and so what I was producing, there wasn't a screen.
Yeah.
And so it pushed me, and I liked the way my mindset was.
Yes.
So it wasn't about the outcome, and the outcome at the end was the same either way.
Yeah.
Film or digital, but it kept me in a certain mindset, so I kept it that way for a long time.
Yeah.
So I wasn't caught behind and not just thinking about the box. It was a theatrical production I was directing,
and so then at the end of it all, when you exhibit, do you have you become a collectible artist? Do people purchase those art pieces?
Yeah, I'm represented by 3 galleries actually, and one in Europe and 2 in Australia, and Art House and Anthea Paulson Art. And I have a show and people come along. But for me, it's not about selling the works. I've always said to people, I have to be in a creative space, and when I'm creating the work, I'm not thinking about where it's going to end up. I'm not thinking about marketing or the exhibiting. I just am a creative person, and then at the end of that, I close that, and I've created it for me, and then I put my business hat on.
Yeah,
and that's how I've
okay.
always been. And then I have to market my product to sell it, because then I get to be creative and go in that bubble again. So, people come and buy it, Sally, and everyone, sometimes I'm standing there going, oh, wow. But do you see yourself as a business person as well? Because a lot of creatives don't. That's how I've separated. I've always thought of it as a business, and rightly or wrongly, that's how my creative practice has evolved. And because I loved it so much, I wanted to be able to continue as my main vibe in life.
Yeah.
And to do that, you need to make an income. And so I very early on, in my early 30s, just went, this has to be a business once I've created it. But I could not have both hats on at once. So when I'm in a bubble, I'm not talking to anyone. I'm just going with the flow. Don't want to break the spell, and I just create how I create.
Yeah, amazing.
And which part of the process are you in currently?
Currently, I've just sourced a new studio space. It's Ostramax House in Brunswick, which is my stamping ground, I guess. It's a huge warehouse, and Andrew and Minna just have put it together, and it's literally opened up this week. And so I've got myself a new creative space, a new studio, and for me that means that a space separated from the family and from mixing it up. It's all very well to mix it up at home, and it's have a working from home situation, but to have that mental separation,
shift, a break.
And you moved out of Melbourne some time ago. Why was that?
Oh, well, we're a creative family, and at the moment we're following our son's dream, and he auditioned and he's literally joined the circus. He's at the Flying Fruit Fly Circus in Albury. So we're Brunswick, Albury people.
Saying that quickly, the Flying Fruit Fly Circus.
I know.
That's tough.
I'd like you to say it, Sally, because I've heard some
I just did
interesting.
it then. The Flying Fruit Fly Circus.
Faster.
My God.
Oh, we're going to have to get the bleeper on here soon.
I know.
Yeah, so we're following his dream. So it's meant that we live in two worlds.
Of course,
We live
you
in
have a son in
Brunswick,
the circus. Of course you do.
Yeah.
He climbs silks, he flips and jumps. And,
That's amazing.
And he's about to go to the Opera House with a show called Big Sky, his dream.
Wow,
and
the
tour.
Opera House. That's
Yeah,
amazing.
in September. So our life is busy but fun,
Yeah.
and we all just support each other, and we go in and out of whose opportunities are at the top at that time. So at the moment we're doing that. And
So there's a lot of sacrifice, is there, to put put your kind of creative vision on hold just for a bit, and while someone else's creative vision is being executed?
I wouldn't say on hold, because I think once you're a creative person, there's always things bubbling in the background.
Yeah.
But it's also an opportunity for all of us, because it's shaken us up and it's taken us to a new world, a new space, and you discover new things and you meet new people. So we see it as an opportunity for all of us.
Yeah.
My daughter she loves writing, and there's a festival called Write Around the Murray, and she's writing a story for that at the moment. And and I don't know, we got some canoes and we're paddling on the Murray, and
wow,
we're just trying to live in a different space and
do new things.
And the studio for me is I'm going to leave the family once a month, come to Melbourne and have a week's space to be me, and that's the evolution of how I can be me and be creative. So not the sacrifice always, but a balance.
Yeah.
It's
It's interesting because I'm sure there's so many people out there, and I'm fascinated by this kind of idea of, this creative, that we talk about creativity in ebbs and flows. We were talking to, someone else about this, and if you're in a flow state and then suddenly you have to kind of stop everything to do the school run or to pick up the kids or even just to kind of do admin life stuff, it can be really jarring and really kind of break that flow, and then you can almost be set back a little bit. So I think there's so many people out there who have either kids or caring for others that are just trying to figure out that balance of being creative and also just living life.
Yeah, creativity doesn't work on a clock. And so, I've always got things bubbling in the background, but I always have something tangible with me. I have a little notebook and I write every idea, even if it's fleeting, that colour, that leaf, that thing I saw in a movie, because you think you'll remember it, but
you never do.
It never do.
Yeah.
So I keep it by my bed, I keep it so that I'm always, it's my Bible. I never have to sit down and go, okay, I need an idea because I've got to show them. I never have to do that because I'm always bubbling in the background, always writing down notes.
And how good have phones been for that too? Like for me, I just photograph everything.
Brilliant.
I see that, or I photograph a message, and I'm the same. I've got notepads everywhere. I have glasses everywhere throughout the house so that I can read the notepad.
I've just joined you, Sal.
I know they're only mine are only
glasses too now.
magnified. Mine are only from the chemist, but I got 20 pairs. But I think, as you said before, creativity, you can't manufacture it and you can't just switch it on today. And everybody has to find what works for them at that point in their life.
Yeah.
So for someone like you, I'd imagine when the kids have grown up and left home, it will change again. And, I'm going through that process at the moment where life changes again. And so I think looking at where you are, what works for you right now is really important. And tapping into understanding how you work, that's one of the first things I think as a creative you really need to be able to find.
Yes.
I think you can also, I'm just thinking about this idea of 1 week a month, and I think it sounds like, as creativities, we're like, we need to be spontaneous and, and just, grab the flow when it comes, but actually you can create it with routine as well. So if you know you've got this week, and you can build up to that.
Yes.
And then you can kind of like when that week comes, you can really like let it go.
Invest yourself in it.
Yeah, I think there's also as you get older and you have to have routines, I think, that you can make it work.
It's very true, Harry. In my 20s and 30s, it could just organically grow, but there has to be a degree of planning. But the emphasis on continually feeding my brain with ideas and writing Monday to Friday, all hours of the day and night, that's what feeds me. But then creating the space where you can let that go is very important. I discovered that I work next level when I extract myself from everything. And when I went to Vietnam to do my last photo shoot, and I just left everything. I had probably about 20 schedules on the fridge for everybody to run everything.
Wow.
But then I just dumped everyone for 3 weeks and everything and turned off the phone. And that's when it all comes together. But it's not switching on, switching off. That prep is always going in the background. That flow, that building to that is always happening.
Yeah. Amazing.
And who have you been your influences, do you think, over time?
I must... Billy and Hells, I love their work. In the very beginning, I just went, wow, when I saw Deborah Powey's work. To go right back in time, when I was growing up in central Queensland and just, in a mining town and there wasn't a lot of inspiration, I discovered Dali. That was the first artist I ever saw.
That doesn't surprise me, actually, with your work. It's not the same, but there's definitely an elaborateness to it, perhaps, or something.
Yeah, and I really connected with that surrealism and the layers and the depth that I didn't understand as a child but built on. But that was actually, it probably sounds really run-of-the-mill, a very well-known artist, but that was the first artist I ever went, oh, wow. And
probably one of the classic artists that in a school in the middle of nowhere that you would find with the local art teacher or something who introduced you to them.
Yes, exactly. Oh, the value of
What was the town?
Emerald in central Queensland.
Oh,
That's
wow.
where I grew up. Fossicking, gemstones.
Wow.
And it was a cotton region, and once a year when they were harvesting, the trucks would drive through town and all the cotton would blow off the top and we'd pretend it was snow.
Yeah.
It was like 40 degrees.
Gorgeous.
Amazing.
Lots of room to just grow and run, literally running in the wheat fields.
Yeah, wow.
Wheat and cotton, we literally had cubbies in wheat fields.
And do you think, sort of even right back then, were you a creative person? You seem to me like you're inherently artistic and creative. Like it's just kind of pours out of you.
Definitely. I was a nightmare at school, really, because back in the
Snap.
day, math, spelling, all of that was not easy for me, and I immersed myself in creativity. And
But you said to me before, and I know that I think you might have had a creative family back then as well. You said you speak Vietnamese, and you've got a Vietnamese sister.
Almost, Sal. I speak Thai. It's okay.
It's okay. I just had Vietnamese for lunch. I apologise. You spoke Thai, and you had a Thai sister.
Yes,
I have a Thai sister.
But funnily enough, I have a Vietnamese sister. Look,
You have a Vietnamese sister?
I do,
Well,
but I
that's
speak
half
Thai.
right.
You are half right.
Why don't you
I'm
speak
from
Vietnamese then?
No, I'm coming.
I'm so confused.
Let her talk.
I'm from a multicultural family.
There we go.
Of adopted siblings and biological. And I have a sister who came out from Vietnam in 1973, and a sister who's Thai, and another brother who's half Indonesian, half Vietnamese. And then there's my brother and I who are biological. So the five of us in the 70s and 80s in central Queensland, we were unique.
I was going to say, was that a unique situation?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
But that's informed, we were just all treated the same.
Yeah.
We were just a melting pot, and we didn't even know there was difference. And it's just always intrigued me, that sense of identity, and that's come across in a lot of my work and a lot of my work.
Certainly has.
Yeah, and I've always worked with children and animals, it seems, and rightly or wrongly, as in people don't advise to work with children and animals at the same time, but I do.
Well, listen, I've got a beautiful Staffy if you'd like her to star in your next. I'm trying to agent her out at the moment. So Oh, that's
But a lot of it's a reflection of my childhood and that sense of identity and how we all see each other and how it grows over time.
And probably coming from sort of parents that are very progressive and open-minded, and that sounds like, they were,
They
opened up a whole world for you and your siblings.
Yeah, it was you are who you are, and there was no pressure in direction, and so it was very just an open family.
And do you still have your mum and dad?
My dad passed away in January this year, so that was a bit
Sorry.
bit of a
So
sad year.
That's,
But Mum's around, and she's embracing Albury. She's flown there 3 times this year.
Well, I was just going to say, how did they feel
Amazing.
about your art? How did they feel about your art?
Oh, I believe they're incredibly proud.
Yeah,
and
I'm sure.
my dad would turn up, and Mum, for just every single show, no matter where I've been in Australia or the world, they were always there.
Yeah, lovely to hear that,
It makes a huge difference when your family supports
and
you.
they've supported you, and you're obviously supporting Chot and his, his and your daughter and their, artistic dreams. And so, it all floats down, doesn't it?
Thank you. Parents are everything in the way they set you up. It's brilliant.
Yeah. I just want to pivot just a little bit, and I'd love to get your thoughts on what it's like. Obviously you've had this beautiful career and you've been very successful and in your own very unique way, which is so wonderful to kind of see. I wonder if you have any advice for up and coming artists. I think in photography, the art realm of photography is almost one of the harder ones to kind of get into or break through. And do you have any sort of advice for photographers that are true kind of artists to be getting into galleries or showing their work?
Yeah, look, I would just say be present and be tangible in the way that you approach galleries. And I literally, and I'd do the same again, you can only put so much on Instagram and get so much exposure that way. And I printed off little mini folios. They're about the size of a CD.
Yeah.
And I made sure that work was the exact same quality as my full-size images in a gallery. So my invitations, my little promo box, and I posted that box around, and then I visited the galleries on foot. At the time, flew to Sydney, walked around Paddington with my folio, having posted boxes out, and I just went. Hi, I'm Samantha Everton. You don't know me, but this is what I do. Be present and be involved. And the other thing I did, which I was involved at the time, is the Fringe Festival. And festivals are fantastic because then you're under the umbrella of a festival. You meet like-minded people, and there's promotions that go in amongst that. And the Fringe Festival sat us down and said, anyone want to learn how to write a media release? Come to this on Brunswick Street.
Wow.
Sitting there, and some journalists came out, and just really embracing opportunities where you meet like-minded people, and you are there and out there, not just sitting and putting the work up online.
Yeah, and waiting for the phone to ring. We've talked a lot over the episodes, and I spend my entire life talking to people about the business of photography.
Yeah.
And even though you're not a commercial-based photographer, you're an art-based photographer, understanding the business of photography is equally as important. And people don't know who you are if you don't put yourself out there. And we've talked numerous times to individuals in this series about it's so much more than just the photograph.
Yes.
It's about the network. It's about them liking you.
Yep.
It's about, how you go about things, how you relate to people. And so we're never just selling an image, are we?
No. And I've always said to people when I'm doing mentorship programs and doing talks, I've always said, look, you wouldn't have a product, open up a shop, and then keep the curtains closed and go, oh, I don't want to show myself too much or be too vulnerable or show off this product or promote myself openly. And that's why I always have the two hats. I'm creative, then I take that, I've done the creativity, and now I'm marketing a product.
Can I tell you something really interesting?
Yeah.
I am dealing more and more and more and more to the point where I'm going bonkers with people. Don't you laugh at that, Harry. With people who have these fabulous websites with no phone number or contact details on them.
Yes.
And do you know why? And I'll say, and it's the first thing I'll go to, and then I'll say, okay, so you haven't got your mobile in there, and they'll go, oh no. And I'll say, can I ask why? And every single one of them say, I don't want people phoning me. And it's like, well, that's curious.
How do they make contact?
How do they make contact with you?
How do you get work?
I get that they're scammers, but look, there's this thing called the block button, and you don't have to answer it. You can let it go through to voicemail. You have to be contactable, whether it's through an agent or through your art gallery. Yep. It's got to be made easy because things happen so fast.
You can also have a work phone, you know,
Oh, exactly.
and just
A
use
burner.
it as a work phone so
Yeah.
that you know that.
Do you have a burner, Sal?
I was going to say, wow.
Can I tell you, I had to have nose surgery. It wasn't a nose job. It was another technical
It's all
nose
coming out
problem.
now.
And my husband gave me a burner phone because he was so sick of the phone ringing all the time. And he goes, just have this. This is for you to phone me, your dad and your daughter. And so even today, I saw a friend this morning. We went for a walk and she went, I'll ring you. She goes, oh, no, that's your burner. I said, no, that was for a very short period of time, about 3 years ago.
I'm picking up tips here because I have 2 children and they can call you any time of the day once they get phones.
Yeah.
And maybe I need a burner type phone for
them.
for the weeks that I'm in Brunswick
Yeah.
being creative.
Yes.
And
That's totally what you need.
No, they don't have the phone number.
That's what I mean. No, they don't.
Yes, and I'll just have that.
It's just to call people.
Great tip. I love
Great
it.
idea.
Thank you.
Keep that flow state.
That's the brownbilleffect.com.
Always on the promo.
Always
Sal.
on the promo.
I love it.
And so when are you looking at? Have you got an idea of when the next exhibition might be, or is that just something that's not even a thing?
I just want to know about the idea, maybe.
True to form,
Can you
Sal.
give us a
True to
hint?
form. I need to be in a
No
bubble.
clue.
I need to be in my bubble, and if I talk about my productions, I
Yeah.
break the spell.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
once
There's a process here.
Yeah, there's a process. But I'll tell you a bit about the process.
Mm.
When, as I said, I've got my little Bible. I'm writing ideas in all the time. Then I actually and taking photos and putting them in folders on my phone as well. All that meshes together. Then I get like a scrapbook and I print off those photos and I write down those and I start to formulate the idea. Then once I've got an umbrella of an idea, I then get A4 pieces of paper, put them throughout my whole lounge room or studio space, and I draw each bubbles and dots and can't actually draw. It's why I'm a photographer. Draw, right, red here, green here, this is here, the animal's there, that's happening there.
Yeah.
And then I live with it, and I live with this wall of my ideas, and that's
Wow.
when it becomes a show.
Fantastic.
Wow. Amazing.
Well, we can't wait to the next show.
I know. You've been I like the way you've kept your cards close to your chest, but you've just given us a little bit of something.
Thank
I'm
you.
excited. Yeah,
Very
absolutely.
I do feel like I'm just hanging out on the couch with you guys in Brunswick. So.
I know. I know.
We're down here in our
It is.
little Collarts pod.
with our fun
I
matching.
would like to change the colour of the walls in here. That's about the only thing. But, we have enjoyed our time in here.
I'm enjoying
And
our nail polishes.
I know.
Yeah, I know. You guys are very bling.
We are
I'm
bling.
feeling, a little bit out of the
Sort
loop.
yourself out. What we have tied together all of our interviews with is sort of ending the interview with a question, which is simply, why do you do what you do, Sam?
You cannot not do it once you've got the bug. It's born in you, I believe. I'm one of those people. I'm up at midnight, 1, 2 in the morning. That's when creativity hits.
Wow.
And
Do you send emails at that time?
send emails.
Do you?
Write in my book.
Stop. And then do you have a nana nap the next day?
I haven't gone to the nana nap. I power through.
Wow. So you don't need much sleep?
I probably do need more sleep, but I don't allow myself because it kicks in around 10 or 11 and that's when all the ideas come out. And I just
Wow.
love, and it's silent, and that's when the magic happens.
Yeah.
Oh, well, look, Sam, you are magical. Your work is magical, and we've just had a really enjoyable time talking to you today. We can't thank you enough.
I have to. Thank you for
coming
having
down
me.
from Albury to
Yeah.
see us.
I-
It's a big smoke.
To see Harry met Sally, I had to.
Yeah. Oh, thank you so much,
It's
darling.
been so lovely to see you, Sam.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
And Harry, thank you for another fantastic episode.
Thank you, Sally.
And just before we sign off, I'd love to say thank you to Collarts for the for their podcast room, and to Shaquille and Tristan, who are our tech guys, and to Martin, my lovely husband, for the music and the intro. And I've just heard it's called an outro as well. I was calling it an extro.
Oh.
Anyway, I'm looking forward to seeing you next time when we are going to be catching up with Ricky from Collarts about education and all things photography. It keeps on going.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll see you later, Harry. And Sam,
Sal.
we'll see you later.
Bye, Sam.
Lovely ladies.
Bye.